The movie began. Avalonia was a land surrounded by endless mountains. The civilization there struggled to fulfill their needs with the limited resources they had. Many people tried to conquer the deadly mountains, but no one ever returned alive. Then the greatest explorer took the challenge. Would he be able to succeed? Jaclade was a man of steel who was not afraid of any challenge. He had conquered many impossible missions along with his brave son, Searcher Clade. After training for years, they finally decided to travel to the other side of the huge mountains. Along with their crew, the Clades reached the midpoint of their journey. They were quietly passing through an ice cave when Searcher noticed a strange glowing plant. As soon as he touched it, the plant radiated a strong electric charge. Searcher's scream made the icicles fall. Luckily, he was rescued by his dad. Searcher suggested stopping the mission and bringing the miracle plant back to their hometown. It could be used as energy to drive vehicles in factories. Ja had waited his whole life to see what was on the other side of the mountains. He couldn't back off now. He argued with his son but wasn't able to convince him. The crew was also on Searcher's side. So Ja decided to continue his mission alone. 25 years later, the plant Searcher brought was named Pando and had become the energy source for Avalonia. Searcher was living his dream as a Pando farmer along with his loving wife Meridian and his teenage son Ethan. Searcher taught his son everything about farming so he could take over the family business one day, like most parents do. Searcher saw himself in Ethan but was not aware of what Ethan truly desired. The young boy was not fascinated by farming. Instead, he loved hanging out with his friends and discovering new things. His closest friend Izo also believed that Ethan was more of an explorer, just like his grandfather. But being a good son, Ethan obeyed his dad and helped deliver pandos around town. Ethan always felt proud to stand beside the statues made to honor his grandfather and his dad. He always wanted to know more about his grandfather, but Searcher never liked to talk about him. He believed Ja wasn't a good father who cared only about conquering the mountains. For a selfish dream, he left his family behind. Later that night, Searcher spent a great time with his family, cooking a delicious meal together. Their happiness was overwhelming, but their life was about to change. A new mission begins. A huge aircraft landed on the farm, and Callisto M stepped out. She was the town mayor and had also been part of Ja's crew. She didn't bring good news. The pandos were losing their power. They were being used up quickly and were withering soon. Something might be infecting the crops. They had to find the cause before it destroyed all the pando fields. Callisto wanted Searcher to join her on the important mission. He was the one who brought Pando and changed the town's fate. Ethan wanted to join the adventure as well. But Searcher didn't want history to repeat itself. He couldn't risk his loved ones by taking them to the deadly mountains. After Ethan sadly locked himself in his room, Searcher made preparations for the journey. He entered the storeroom to pick up his old adventure backpack and the lovely compass his father left for him. Then he joined the crew inside the spacecraft. Callisto explained how all the pandos were connected to a single source, the root. If they could find the source, they might fix the disease and save the crops. The researchers had located the source deep underground. The adventure continues. As the spacecraft descended, they heard Meridian's voice. She had returned to get Ethan, who secretly joined the mission. Suddenly, a bunch of strange creatures flew out of nowhere. These creepy animals attacked the spacecraft and injured the pilot. Meridian used her plane to guide the spacecraft, then she jumped into the pilot's seat and took control. Instead of crashing into the rocks, they popped up into a strange world hidden deep under the ground. Searcher and his dog fell off the spacecraft while the others landed in a different spot. After getting up from the fluffy pink ground, Searcher looked around and saw the strangest animals and plants he had ever seen in his life. Suddenly, a slimy creature snatched away his handkerchief. Searcher followed it to get his belongings back, but the slime brought even bigger monsters. Searcher ran for his life and met another strange creature who burned down the monster. The creepy man took off his cloak. Before he could introduce himself, Searcher recognized him immediately. It was his father, Jaclade. Searcher reminded him of all the times they had spent together in the past. Jia remembered everything and excitedly greeted his son. He was even more excited to see the spacecraft and hurried to find it. Ethan's journey. Meanwhile, Callisto and her crew were repairing the plane. They wanted to stay together for safety, but Ethan didn't agree. He sneaked away on a hover bike to find his dad. Soon, he reached a cliff and stopped to find a way down. He didn't know the ground under his feet was alive. It started to wobble, and Ethan fell off the cliff. There was no way he could climb the slippery rocks. The only way was through the cave. Ethan felt scared at first, but then he remembered the explorer's blood running through his veins. He rushed inside the cave. Everything seemed fine at first, but then Ethan found the slimy creature sticking to his backpack. He screamed in fear and threw the slime at the wall. After calming down, Ethan apologized for his rude behavior. He tried to befriend the creature and named it Splat. Splat pulled out the handkerchief he stole from Searcher. Ethan recognized it and asked Splat to guide him to his father. Jia's plan, however, Searcher had already started his journey back to the plane with his father. 25 years ago, when Jia continued his mission, he realized it was impossible to cross the mountains directly. Instead, he found this hidden place underground and decided to travel below the mountains. He fought many monsters and reached the burning sea. Its water could burn the flesh off a person's bones. Since then, Jia had been trying to find a way to cross the burning sea. Now he had a plan. He would use the crew's aircraft to fly over it. Searcher felt disappointed after hearing his father's plan. Even after 25 years, Jia still only thought about himself. He only wanted to conquer the mountains. He didn't care that his family had been living without him, believing he was dead. Jia's wife had moved on and married another man. Jia had never seen the statue built for him in the center of the town. For Jia, nothing was enough. Even though they had discovered another amazing world, Jia still wanted to risk everyone's life. Ethan's danger. After sliding down the mountains, they found Ethan's game card. Jia predicted that Ethan was in danger and might be attacked by the monstrous Reapers. He was right. Splat had taken Ethan to the Reaper's nest. Ethan found a bunch of pando seeds there and started collecting them. Splat also grabbed a seed but burned himself. He started crying in pain. Ethan treated him gently and wrapped his wound. Splat's view of Ethan changed. Now Splat didn't want to harm this kind human anymore. But it was too late. The Reapers woke up and attacked from all sides. Jia arrived just in time to save his grandson. He burned down the Reapers and ran away with Ethan. They reached a cliff and jumped off. They landed safely in a swarm of pink jellyfish, which helped them escape. Father and son working together. Ethan was very impressed by his grandfather's bravery. Jia became the hero Ethan always dreamed of. While they continued, Ethan slipped and almost fell, but his new friend Splat caught him in time. Meanwhile, Searcher still felt upset about being Jia's son and about being in such a dangerous place. But there was more trouble coming. Jia's gun ran out of fuel, and the Reapers were about to attack them again. At that moment, Meridian and Callisto arrived like angels. They brought hover bikes for everyone. The crew started to escape, but more monsters came from the other side. Splat suggested Ethan use the pando seeds. The seeds gave the Reapers a strong electric shock. This bought the crew enough time to escape safely. New arguments begin when they returned to the aircraft. Jia and Searcher started arguing again about what to do next. Callisto tried to calm them down. She suggested they focus first on saving the pando plant. After that, they could continue the adventure of conquering the mountains. The journey continued. The crew followed the pando routes. Searcher collected samples, but they still didn't find a solution to the problem. Searcher became worried about something else, Jia's influence on Ethan. Jia and Ethan spent more time together. Jia asked Ethan if he had a girlfriend, which made Ethan blush. Ethan liked someone, but he didn't know how to impress his crush. Jia gave him some risky advice, like doing big, dangerous adventures. He even gave Ethan his fire gun and taught him how to use it. Searcher didn't like this at all. He didn't want his son to become a dangerous explorer. He wanted him to be a safe farmer. This caused another argument between father and son. Trying to work together, Ethan wanted to stop the fighting between his father and grandfather. He suggested they play a card game to relax and talk peacefully. But Jet and Searcher kept arguing. They didn't listen to each other. Ethan became very frustrated. The generation gap was too big. The clades could not unite. Still, the journey continued. The Burning Sea. After following the Pando routes for many hours, the crew reached a dangerous place called the Burning Sea. The water here was like hot acid and could burn skin instantly. Meridian was afraid to fly over the sea, it was too dangerous. Then Splat had an idea. He spoke with green slimes flying around the sea and asked them for help. The slimes lifted the aircraft and carefully carried it over the Burning Sea. They turned right, then left, then right again, and finally made a full turn to reach the other side. Another attack. When they thought they were safe, a group of Reapers attacked again. The crew grabbed their weapons. Jer's fire gun worked well, but he only had one. Searcher used Pando seeds as weapons. He threw them at the Reapers. At first, he was not very good at aiming. He was a farmer, not a fighter. But just stepped in to help his son. Together, they improved. Father and son worked as a team. They fought the Reapers and escaped safely. A heart-to-heart talk after the battle. Searcher and Ja finally had a quiet moment to talk honestly. Searcher explained why he chose to be a farmer. He loved working with the soil. It made him feel happy and peaceful. Jet explained that he spent his whole life chasing adventures. He lost his family for 25 years because of his dream. But for him, there was no turning back. Ethan and Meridian watched this conversation and felt happy that father and son were finally talking openly. Meridian thought about Ethan's future. She knew that he shouldn't hide his true dreams. Real happiness comes from following your own path. The truth about Pando. The crew kept following the Pando routes. As they went deeper, they noticed something strange. The Pando was getting stronger the deeper they went. Suddenly, a group of Reapers appeared again. But this time, they did not attack the people, they attacked the Pando's heart. The Reapers were not evil. They were trying to destroy the Pando. Searcher started to understand the Reapers were fighting Pando because Pando was like a disease. The Pando was using up the planet's energy. That's why the crops on the surface were dying. Searcher quickly made a spray from crushed Pando seeds to help stop the disease. He handed one spray gun to Ethan, but Ethan refused. Ethan said, "I don't want to be a farmer. I don't want to fight pests or save crops. That's not my dream." Searcher became angry. He thought Joe was filling Ethan's head with explorer ideas. He blamed his father. The argument got worse. Ethan became upset and jumped off the ship. Searcher followed him with a hover bike to talk to him alone. The big discovery. While talking, Searcher told Ethan, "I tried so hard not to be like my dad. But now I realize. I am controlling you the same way. I wanted you to live my dream. But you should follow your own dream." Before Ethan could answer, they both saw something unbelievable. The mountains were not really mountains, they were the body of a giant living creature. Avalonia, their whole land, was sitting on the back of this massive creature. Pando was not a good energy source, it was a sickness growing inside the creature. The Reapers were actually trying to heal it. A difficult decision. Searcher and Ethan rushed back to stop the crew from attacking the Reapers. Jid did not believe them. He still wanted to reach his dream. Searcher gave back Jer's compass and said goodbye. But Callisto, the mayor, thought Searcher was crazy. She locked Searcher and his family in the ship. Luckily, their dog helped them escape. Meridian took control of the ship. Searcher had a plan: dig a hole in the heart so the Reapers could heal the creature from the inside. Ethan gathered the Reapers to help. Saving the creature, Joe was almost at his dream. But then he remembered his family. He chose to return and help. Joe and Searcher dug together and made a hole for the Reapers. The Reapers went inside and healed the heart. At first, it seemed like they were too late. But soon, the heart started beating again. The giant creature was alive and healthy once more. A new beginning. The mission was complete. On the way back home, Searcher took Ja to see the other side of the mountains, the place Ja had always dreamed of seeing. But this time, it was special because his family was with him. 1 year later, Searcher returned to his peaceful farm life, but now, he let Ethan explore the world and follow his own dreams. The movie is in. Please subscribe the channel and like and share. Thank you.